debut at Staples.
People kind of forgot about him. He was kind of languishing in Minnesota after some good times in Philly, but he could really make an impact for this team.
121-111. Russell Westbrook with 41 points, 17 of 28, 8 rebounds. Eric Gordon, 15 points on 5 of 8 from 3. James Harden, 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Anthony Davis leading the way for the Lakers, 32, 13, and 3. LeBron with 15 assists. Let's go back to Staples Center. Frank Vogel speaking with Mike Trudell in the media.
Frank, how do you think the way that the Rockets played with that lineup impacted how you use the rotations and how that impacted the game, especially in the second half?
Yeah, it impacted how we give our guys an opportunity to impact the game, with our normal rotation. I felt like we had a better opportunity, by using our small lineup. And, we had some good stretches with it, but it wasn't enough down the stretch.
Frank, I don't know if you noticed that they showed Darren Collison on the big video board at one point in the third quarter. You did not?
No.
When you see what they do is obviously unusual, in terms of today's NBA. How long does it take to just learn a team and adjust to when you see something that odd?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's anytime you see a unique style of play, it takes a little while to figure it out, but it's really not that different than what we see with a lot of teams that have centers that shoot threes. The difference is they have 2 elite superstar offensive players. That you're trying to figure out how to guard with 5 3-point shooters out there. So it's a challenge. We can be a lot better than we were tonight. We just got to be better.
When they have obviously those 2 superstars and Westbrook's going off, does that change, or are you still doing the same defense that would you do with 2 guys?
Yeah, well, we were doubling James, and they were making threes, and Russell was for the most part was hitting difficult 2s. Again, when the double teams are just leading to threes, you got to pick your poison. And for the most part, he was scoring over length, put bigger defenders on him. But tip your cap to him. He was terrific finishing. Making mid-range shots and getting to the basket. So, his single coverage, and James is penalizing or punishing the double teams by hitting shooters, and their shooters, punishing them by making threes, was too much for us.
Coach, with the advantage you had with size, it seemed like your team was trying to force the ball a little bit too much to the post, maybe turning the ball over a little bit. Would that be accurate?
Probably the understatement of the year. Yeah, we were terrible with, just like you said, trying to force feed it inside. Getting our spacing right against their post frontals, and just not reading the weak side. That's where most of our turnovers came, and it disrupted our flow.
When you said earlier that just you need to do better, recognizing you haven't watched tape yet or anything like that, what stands out specifically as the things you could have done better in this game?
Well, we could have guarded Russell better with one-on-one, and we could have, gotten to shooters better when we double James. But really, for me, our offensive rhythm was out of sync. We didn't play with a high enough motor. We didn't punish their switching nearly well enough, and we were careless and sloppy with the basketball. And I thought we didn't force just passes, but, in the first half in particular, on our drives to the basket, we failed to make the extra pass and play extra pass basketball. All things that we can correct, do better at, the things that we have done better at. And, we'll learn from it and, hopefully do better next time we play.
Big game James, Frank Vogel, ineffective motor offensively. He talked about those turnovers for the Lakers. Obviously costly, but something you talked about a little bit earlier. The ineffective bench, it's a big story tonight.
Yeah. And you knew that you're going to have to play small ball tonight against the Rockets. I did not think that Dwight or JaVale could, defend on the perimeter. Bigs are used to getting back to the paint and then moving out. So that's why Pope, Rondo, Caruso, they had to be ready to match this small lineup, and they didn't do it. You look at the numbers here. 1 assist, 0.
0 for 11.
Yeah, 0 for 11 total. Mm-hmm. So So, you say what you want to. Those three guys right there, I'm not going to say they cost them the game, but they had to match small ball, and they did.
You need to see consistency from them.
And a lot of times, like to their defense a little bit, a lot of times what they do comes off of what the bigs do, too.
Yeah.
Bigs block shots. Bigs do have a lot to do with how the game is controlled, but when the bigs aren't in there, these guys had to match Tucker. They had to match the other small, Westbrook, Gordon. They had to match that, cover them. And Kuzma in particular was the X factor with size and quickness. So this is something they got to take. These three have to take responsibility for. It's just that simple.
Cruz had a decent game, right? A good game, 12 points.
Yeah.
2 for 3 from 3. But it's hard. You're looking at the 5 guys that played. Dwight only gets 4 minutes. It's just one of those nights with the matchup.
Not a big night today.
And what's really hard is when you do have a deep team and some guys that can shoot, that are buried, and a guy like Quinn Cook and Troy Daniels. It's hard. It's hard when you're playing 9-10 games.
Look, if you got to monitor what's going on. I wouldn't mind 2 or 3 minutes of Troy, and just to see if I can get a couple threes out of him or something to match what Houston was doing. But it wasn't that they didn't score that much. It's just they couldn't defend either. You look at Westbrook 41 points. The rest of the starters had 53 points.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
Coach said it too. Just didn't make the extra pass. I mean, guys like Avery Bradley and Danny Green had good nights tonight, so you hate to waste those. But let's go inside the Laker locker room. Anthony Davis is with Mike Trudell.
Well, Anthony, you guys knew they were going to play that unique style, essentially without a big. Just wondering how that impacted things and where you felt like you guys could have taken advantage that you weren't able to.
I got their hands on a couple, passes that we tried to throw over the top. They hit some tough shots down the stretch, and we made some costly turnovers towards the end. When a team shoots a lot of threes, I mean, especially this team when they have a 5, out offense with all 3-point shooters, and some guys made some shots tonight, but I think we had some costly turnovers down the stretch where we didn't complete passes that we normally complete, and it kind of hurt us. They got out in transition and was able to, we didn't match up well. They was able to make us pay.
Frank talked about how last game in Houston, you guys really trapped Harden. It worked well. Westbrook wasn't hitting his shots. Tonight he took 28, hit a bunch of them. James just 3 for 10. Was that, you just give Russ credit, or were there things you guys could have done better?
We were led with some shots. I mean, we did have some miscommunication, but we'll take him, with Kuz on him, I'm on him. Came down and made some couple pull-ups on me, and but I think for me, I live with those shots, and like Coach said, this game he made shots, and also there are other guys made shots as well.
Do you think, Anthony, because they were playing small, you guys were forcing the ball maybe into the post, or should the mismatch a little more than you guys normally would, let the ball flow around?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, we had good looks. I think we just didn't complete some passes. They were able to deflect some and, for steals and get out and run. So, that was our game plan, though, to try to set screens, slip, and force a switch, whether the guys were handling the ball drive or, we throw it over the top. But it was some plays where, I got the ball where I could have had some kickouts and, just look at film and just get ready for the next game.
The points given up, that's an awful lot. I'm sure you feel that way. It was 120 or so. As a defensive guy, how upsetting is that to you?
I mean, there's a lot of points, we didn't score enough. I mean, like I said, they made us pay with some threes. They got to the line, Russ did, and they got in transition, so we just got to be better defensively.
And then you had a lot going for you early on at the rim. Did you feel like the finger affected either your rhythm or any of your flows of the rest of the game after sprained it?
No, it was fine. I think they just trying to switch up the game plan a little bit, double teaming or fronting and just trying not to let me get the ball. And like I said, we just threw some passes where they got, deflected, and we had a lot of good looks. Guys missed some shots tonight.
Last 2 questions, please.
Did you notice that they put Darren Collison on the video board during the game?
I think I saw it. Yeah.
What was your reaction to seeing them do that?
At the game, I had no reaction.
What do you think of the team LeBron assembled with the All-Stars and picking you first?
It's great. We're ready to play with those guys next weekend.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Lakers are